What's up, gamers? Masked Gamer here. Today I wanted to bring you a quick little video showing you my comic book room. I actually have a dedicated room in my house that doubles as a guest bedroom where I actually keep and display and read my comic book collection. I know some of you have actually seen my comics, but wanted to show you where I keep them, where I display them, and a few of my prized gems. So here we go. Let's go ahead and show you what I've got. So this is the the comic book room here, and what I've done here, let me show you the walls here. I've got an actual little shelf that I had it put together, and put some of my favorite comic books here. So as you can see, I've kind of got it on 3 different walls here, and I kind of have them organized in a specific manner. I'll kind of show you that in a second. But walking into the actual room, this is what it looks like. I got a bed there, got my comic book table. I always keep that thing nice and clean for when I'm looking at my comics. I have a little statue shelf where I kind of keep some of my collectibles. I have another picture right there, and then the closet here. So you can kind of see I've got all these different comics up here. I'll point out a few of the my prized possessions. Right here we have the Walking Dead. I've got the all but one of the 100th issue of The Walking Dead. This one right here in particular is one of my favorites because it is a very, very limited edition. Basically sent to comic book shops. I think it's out of 100, there's only 100 copies of this in existence, so pretty cool. It's totally clean. All my comics are pretty much in near mint condition, but you can see I've got the whole Walking Dead issue 100 here, and then another one from Robert Kirkman that I really like is Invincible. Invincible is awesome. If you have not read it, you should check it out. It's really awesome. And then here, got an old Valiant throwback, if you know what Valiant is, and some Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon is my favorite comic book hero. I really enjoy him. This one right here, if you have not read Chew, you should read Chew. This is a limited edition gold Secret Agent Poyo signed by the writer John Layman, so that's pretty sweet. And then this one right here is an issue of Invincible, a little mini-series. I have a little drawing of Invincible there by the creator, Cory Walker. Co-created that with Robert Kirkman. Then I have a special sketch cover here written by John Goff. Then I have some Spawn. I'm kind of a 90s guy, like a lot of the stuff from the 90s. And my favorite Spiderman crossover event, Maximum Carnage. I have every single one of those. They are very awesome. And then I have an entire shelf here of the Savage Dragon, which is pretty cool. Savage Dragon is my all-time favorite comic book here, all-time favorite comic. I have a lot of rares, a lot of signed stuff from him. I'll do that another day, kind of go through a handful of my signed stuff. I have a ton of it. And then here, this is probably my all-time favorite Amazing Spider-Man cover, and it's actually drawn by the artist and creator of the Savage Dragon, Eric Larson. And there's an issue of The Walking Dead number 75 signed by the writer Robert Kirkman, and the Savage Dragon limited edition number 1 signed by Eric Larson. So that's kind of what I do. And then I've got my table right here next to my case. I'm going to go over this case here with you in a second. That's kind of where I read my comics, and then that's where I keep all my bags, boards, things like that in this little thing. Got a sticker on here of one of my favorite bands, Authority Zero, punk rock all the way. Old school skater, old school punk rock guys. So that's kind of, a little throwback to that. But let us go through my prized possession case, and I'll show you a few things here. Now these bad boys here, these are some graded comics. This is an Amazing Spider-Man number 128 8.0 signed by Stan Lee. And then I have a 7.5 Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man number 1, also signed by Stan Lee, so that's pretty sweet. I have some limited edition Wizard Image cards from back in the day when Image started, and this actually relates to gaming. This is one of the tournaments that I'd won in Counter-Strike back when I was a kid. It's no longer around, kind of one of those things like MLG and whatnot, but it's the Extreme Gaming Network. Very proud of that. Only trophy I've ever had because I didn't play any organized sports, so that was kind of cool. Then I have a Savage Dragon statue. This is probably the coolest statue that I've got. My favorite anyways, but nice limited edition Savage Dragon statue. Then I have Megaton, the Wizard Ace edition. It's a kind of a reprint of Megaton #1, which is the first edition of the first appearance of the Savage Dragon. That is signed by Eric Larson, which is pretty darn cool. And then I have the Megaton #3, the original. It's at 9.0. That one is signed by Eric Larson and also Angel Medina, who was another artist in that. So pretty cool. Then I have another, this one is the New Avengers limited edition. I think there's only 50 of these. That one is, if you can see it, also signed by Stan Lee. And then we'll go down here. I have a Witchblade #18. And this one's a little bit special because the artist, which is Michael Turner, he passed away of a degenerative disease, I believe it was. So this one's pretty rare. It's a 9.6 signed by him, so that's kind of a cool thing to have. He was an amazing artist and kind of sad to miss him. Then I have the Savage Dragon #145 featuring our president, whatever you want to call him. This one's pretty limited, pretty rare. It was in high demand. It's 9.0, signed by Eric Larson. Then I have another Savage Dragon statue here. Got some buttons and other stuff down there. And then, if you know who that is, my favorite all-time movie, Don't Mess with the Jesus. And then, got some pretty cool Jim Lee stuff down here. I'm kind of getting on my knees down here. But we got a Gen 13 #1. This one is a Jim Lee comic. It's a 9.6 signed by Jim Lee, so that's pretty darn cool. And a Wildcats #2 foil cover, also signed by Jim Lee. A couple of my prized possessions. I got a little dragon statue. Then a couple of my old membership cards and ID badges from different tournaments that I went to when I was competing. And I keep these balls in here because one of the tournaments that we did win, every one of us on our Counter-Strike team got 5 cases of these things, so it was kind of cool to have just a ton of balls. Really good drink, nice energy thing. So that's kind of that case. And I've also got one more statue here. This one's actually Sandman, Spiderman, and Venom. Big, huge thing. I got a pretty sweet deal on it from a comic book shop over here, but this one is, if you can look, you can see how big it is. It doesn't even fit inside the case. It's a giant. And then I have my comic book collection here. This entire closet's pretty much filled with comics here. Thousands and thousands of comics. And then I have some limited edition art up there that I'll go over some other time, and I'm not going to open the other side of the closet, but that's the entire room here. So this is my dedicated comic book room, and you know, some of my cooler items that I have. So you know, I'm sure if you have ever collected comics or enjoyed comics, you'll enjoy that. Everybody kind of wants a space where they can keep all of their nerdy stuff. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, the Masked Gamer is out.